Hey guys, it is day 13 and we are making our way right to the end of week 2. And at the end of week 2, then guess what? Already just that fast. Time don't wait on nobody and nobody should wait on time. But just that fast, we're entering into our last week of the fast. And that's my favorite word. I'm so super excited for all of us for the remarkable experience in the inbox and the text messages and the response in the Saving Alkaline Hall has been really, really good. Also in the Alkaline Culture group, Shanshay's Fit group, all of us are fasting together. It has been a very, very beautiful experience. And I must say so myself, it has been one of my favorite and most productive fasts in a long, long time. But it's all because of the excitement of you guys. So welcome to day 13. Well, we're kind of ending off day 13. Hi, Tamara. Tamara's on our live tonight. Hi, beautiful. Really, really enjoyed you on Saturday. And as always, guys, if you are um, not able to log into the group, the Saving Alkaline Hall is on YouTube. So make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. You can share the video and share it with your family and friends at any time. Or if people are not in the group or on the page and not able to see it, and you want to get all the great information that we're sharing in these live series, especially tonight with the beautiful Dr. Truth, is tapping into our mindsets when it comes to this transition, which is a huge, huge topic that we must be aware of and know of when it comes to transitioning into the alkaline vegan lifestyle. And I'm sure she'll talk a little bit about our fasting as well. So we just want to wait for a few moments for some people to jump on in. Hi, Shauna. Shauna's been doing good too. It's been a very, very amazing journey. I can tell you that today. It's really, really cold here in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, I know you guys that's up north probably think it's springtime in the weather we have, but this is a little bit too cold for us. And it's been a rainy day, and I've been out and about. And I'm drinking my sarsaparilla drink. I put a little raspberry in there, but it's been awesome. So wait for a few more people to come on and jump in. If not, we're just going to go ahead and get started as we move out of a day 13 and into day 14, ending off the the second week of the fast. It definitely has been amazing. So I'm not going to even talk too much. I don't have too much updates. Giveaway will be on our next live. Keep it a little balanced a little bit. And congratulations to Natalie. I haven't had a chance to post on the comment for Saturday's live, but Natalie was the winner for the live on Saturday. So Natalie, I will be sending you out the code so that way you can enjoy your festivities with Miss Lattimore and her products on her website. So exciting times, but whoever, you never know, I might even change my mind because Dr. Truth got some amazing things going on herself, and I may even change my mind when it comes to the giveaway. But as of right now, we don't have any giveaways tonight, but we definitely want you guys to participate, ask questions. And if you have any remarks, don't hesitate to put those on the screen, and we'll bring it up to the screen so we can ask your questions. So without further ado, because we have so much information to go over with Dr. Truth. She's such an awesome, awesome young lady. I came across Dr. Truth on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, somebody else in the alkaline community that I didn't have any idea about. And I seen her, and I was just so inspired. But most importantly, I really love that apparel, which is the advertisement that you saw in the beginning. I haven't gotten in my shopping cart yet, but I love it. And I really, really like how she really speaks to the heart and speaks to the mind. Because in any change that we do, it is mental. We have to get our mentals and our thoughts together first. And it's very, very important. And many of us that are coming back into the alkaline lifestyle, it's important to understand why there's a wishy-washy, why we're going in and out, And then Dr. Truth is just going to give us some great insight about all of that tonight. So it's a deep, deep topic. And without further ado, I'm going to bring Dr. Truth onto the stage. Hi,
All right.
Dr.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Hello, how are you?
I am doing wonderful, and thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. I come to you from my electric kitchen. This is my office.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. And I like the way you said it, my electric kitchen, because I'm always in the kitchen too. I probably do need to make a name for it because
Right,
I'm
right,
always
right.
in the kitchen. But let's just, for those of you that may not know who you are, just give us some insight about you, how you got started, and give us some history about Dr. Truth.
All right. Well, thanks again for having me and that amazing introduction. I appreciate you and being here with you guys tonight. Yes, so I do go by Dr. Truth. That is my pen name, obviously. And because of the sensitive, so called sensitive things that we talk about, that's why I like to kind of keep it and whatnot. But it's actually inspired by Dr. Sabi. So I'm finishing my PhD in educational psychology and research. And literally, when I found Dr. Sabi in 2017, it was around September, October. I was just excited to share with the world about what I found out from this amazing man. And everybody looked at me like, yeah, right. What are you talking about? And so
Right.
I was like, you know what? They keep telling me what their doctors keep saying to them, which we already know that half of that is nonsense and whatnot. But anyway, let me not go too far. But so I was like, you know what? Maybe if I get my doctorate, they'll pay me more attention. So that's actually what inspired me to go back to school. And I was just telling Tarisha before we got on live with you guys, had I known then what I know now, I wouldn't have allowed, anybody else to kind of sit on my confidence as far as, the information that we know and that we've learned, especially from Dr. Sabi and whatnot. But however, obviously it was supposed to be something that I was supposed to do. So I'm definitely thankful and grateful I went that route. It actually taught me how to do real research because some people we can go on social media, right, and just get some information that we heard and then pass it off as if we've researched it and we know that is Bible, right? So it's just like, all right, but so no matter what, guys, you guys are in good hands with me. Like, I don't share information unless I've thoroughly researched it. Okay, so I don't just hear stuff and be like, hey, do this and that. No, I go really deep when I pass off information. Okay. But yeah, I just realized I didn't even really tell you guys about me, but that's kind of like my current journey. But as far as this alkaline electric lifestyle, like I said, I found Dr. Sabi in 2017. Well, because my own health journeys, right, or my own health issues, and I had fibroids and just wasn't feeling well. Had adult acne and all kinds of stuff, and then I went alkaline for 4 months straight. And then I was just like, everything was just amazing. I was just like, okay, the fibroids dropped, the skin cleared up, my hair was shinier, and all this kind of stuff. And then guess what? I went back to the sad diet because I was feeling good.
Mm.
So I don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in because I went back and forth a total of 3 times over the span of about 4 or 5 years. So it was definitely a lot of ups and downs that I went through. But now that I've become more aware of what my body likes and what it doesn't like, which is none of the sad food, I've been able to stay consistent because it became more of a priority in my life. Before it was just kind of like maybe, but now it's up here. So yeah, but we'll talk more about that and how to get there.
That's great. And I'm glad that you mentioned that you tapped in about 3 or 4 times over a period of 4 or 5 years, because some people would think that, if you're dealing with the illness and you are in your 30s or 40s, okay, it took you 30 to 40 years to get where you are right now. It may not take, a year or 2 or 3 years to really settle yourself in the lifestyle. Now, some people have. It's a lot of people in the group that has went alkaline. They have not went back and done a great job. But then you have people that have been living life circumstances, been through a whole lot in these past few years, and has veered back and back into non-alkalinity, such as myself. So it's kind of confident to know that you are not alone and this happens. So when that happens, because this is your psychology expertise here, when that happens, tell us what is going on in our mindset. What is it that we should know?
So that is a great question. I appreciate you asking that. A lot of times when we say things like "I'm finna" or "I'm gonna" or "I should," and we go back and forth and not staying consistent with whatever follows those key phrases, is basically that it's not high on our priority list, is essentially what it means. And it sounds good, but we have to kind of go back and understand, where did we get these sets of priorities or values from? So you can have something as simple and basic as, you know what, I should have, let's just say, $100,000 in my bank account right now. And if you don't, then obviously there may be some money blocks, or there's something going on to where it's just not a priority for you to focus on money. And I know some people can say, well, everybody doesn't have an equal playing field and things of that nature. Yes, I get that. And that's part of it. However, once again, we've heard stories where people come from nothing to self-made multimillionaires. So at the end of the day, you got to look at it. Okay, what is it within myself that's blocking me from focusing on my financial capabilities, or whatever that it is? So the things that I actually am going to talk to you guys about later, you can actually insert whatever it is that you really want to manifest in life. But of course, we're going to focus on eating more electric and alkaline though. But yeah, but essentially it's just not a top priority.
Yes, that's good. And usually I'm going to take that is when I was running the restaurant, what was top priority for me was running the restaurant and
Mm-hmm.
providing the people of the community what it is that they wanted so they'll like it, and so that way it will be more receptive in the community. And most of those items were non-alkaline foods, vegan foods, and healthy because I cook most of my foods with herbs in it, but it wasn't alkaline foods, and the alkaline foods is what gave me the better and the most health out of all of my life. So I can definitely see how that's important. What is top priority in your life is what's going to trump anything that you do when it comes to your thoughts and your process. So
Yeah.
that definitely makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how do you correlate things? What's your intake on fasting?
So what kind of fast are you guys doing? Because I know there's different
Mhm.
types and modified and all that kind of stuff. So tell me
Right.
what kind of fast you guys are
So
doing.
we're doing a liquid fast. So we have tea, water, soup, smoothie. So all liquids for 21 days.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I definitely love that. So essentially, from what I understand, is that when you're doing a liquid fast, you're giving your body just a chance to not have to worry about digesting and breaking down any kind of food. It just basically goes in you and right back out to help cleanse you out the best you can, right?
Right. Right.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's amazing. I wish I had known about it. I would have done it myself because I need people like y'all. I can't, it's tough to do it by yourself. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it has definitely been easy now that we have a community of people that has been with us. Something else that you mentioned that I want to tap into a little bit. You said that you decided to enter into the PhD doctoral program because you hoped that people would listen to you more. That kind of taps into the alkaline community. Now, back in 2016 when we started, there was groups everywhere. I mean, it was really popping, really thriving, and as time has gone on, now we have a lot of processed vegan foods, and the community has kind of shied away. What is your thoughts with the state of the alkaline community today?
Man, that is a fantastic question. It seems that Dr. Sabi's name is being kind of washed away, unfortunately, because, like you said, there were so many groups that got started. And so I believe that more people were humble and to say, okay, wow, this is some amazing information. Let me keep sharing it. And because again, like he was still around when most people got started, or it was just recent in his passing. So they would still kind of give, accolades to him and whatnot. Now, what, it's been 8 years or so later, it's kind of like, well, I know everything now. So I'm just going to talk about the business and everything. And I've been studying it for so long. Whoever, they're not even really focusing on where they got the information from. It's just all about me, 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 me. So it's unfortunate to see, but I'm also happy to see people like yourself that are still keeping his name alive. And we need more of that and just keep sticking together because we can't do this by ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the bases of us doing this series, or me putting on this series, to bring the Aquiline community more together, to let people see there are many people that still doing the work of Dr. Sebi, still educating, still putting forth the knowledge that we know of healing, and we're not just gone away. Maybe in and out, but not gone away. So being able to bring everyone together on one platform, and just give everyone their roses while they're here with the good work that they're doing, is very, very important to us. All
Absolutely.
right. So you have a presentation for us, right?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
So
So,
I'm going to come off the screen, and the floor is yours for the next moment, and bring on your presentation.
all right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, guys, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. I do go by Dr. Truth for a reason, okay? um, my personality is not necessarily to make friends. I'm just here to give you guys the black and white truth because I think we have enough people in our lives to really kind of hold our hands and say, oh, it's okay and whatnot, and you look great and all these kind of things when we're really not being completely honest. So that is me. So I'm that friend that's going to give you the honest to goodness truth. Okay. All right. So today we're talking about rebooting your roots, which is essentially retraining your brain, um, and how to stop wanting what does not serve you. Okay. How to stop wanting the things that does not serve you. All right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can use my method for anything that you want to manifest. However, of course, me and my team, we focus on getting more of our peeps to eating more electric. Okay. So, with my specific role, I'll reveal to you guys the importance of eating, or I'm sorry, of helping you understand that everybody has a unique set of priorities, right? Everybody has a unique set of priorities. So many times we set our priorities based on what the world says we should do, or what the world says how we should be, or how we should act, or even sometimes how we should look. And all of those things influence our thinking and so much more, right? So if you're working out or eating plant based is not in line with your priorities, you'll just simply never do it. Or if you guys being in this group, which is amazing, you may have been motivated for several different reasons of why you joined the group. However, the real true test is going to come on day 22 or day 35. Because guess what? Research says that 23% of people set New Year's resolutions, and it's broken by day 5. So, first, pat yourselves on the back for making it to day 13 and keeping it going. But like I said, it's a lot easier within a group. So, the real test is going to come after this fast is over with the group, and you're kind of left on your own to see what you're going to do, right? So sometimes we can get on these roads, which is great, where we may set a resolution, or sometimes we don't because we end up saying, well, New Year's resolutions are stupid, right? We may call it stupid because why? Because after 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, we've set them and we get to the end of that year and it's already broken. Well, again, don't beat yourself up because once again, you have to understand what your true priorities are and making sure that it's not in alignment with what your mama said or what your cousin said or what the world says you should do. You have to figure it out for yourself. Okay. So once you're able to do that, which I actually help you throughout our Eat More Electric Challenge or working with me one-on-one. Matter of fact, when you sign up for the Eat More Electric Challenge, which is absolutely free, by the way, um, once you sign up, we automatically send you a couple of things to get you started, as well as what I call my wealth. Oh, hello. Okay. As well as my wealth check form. And that is basically having an honest conversation with yourself. It's asking you, again, questions so you can get to your true priorities, right? And it seems like, eating more electric or eating more alkaline or eating plant based should be on everybody's priority list, but obviously it's not, right? It's not. And even if it is yours right now, which again, I told you guys, I went back and forth 3 times before I had to make it, number one on my list for staying on this journey. I had to get there. So how you get there is just by having honest conversations with yourself. Okay. So once again, I may step on a few toes when I ask you guys on some of these things or kind of talk to you about it, but it's definitely important to understanding your road to staying on in this lifestyle. Okay. So let me ask you guys this. How many times have you told your partner or your spouse or your kids, I love you? How many times have you prayed over food that you knowingly is killing you, right? And you've said it over and over again, and you've done it over and over again, right? We've done that before. Now, again, you don't know what you don't know. So I'm not talking to those people that just completely have no idea. Like when we were kids, we were eating these foods, we had no clue. Our parents didn't have any clue. So I'm not talking to those people, but you guys being in this hall, the Sabian Hall, you definitely know better, right? Now, you start to get to a point to where you're like, all right, I know these things, but it's so hard, right? Because that sugar and all that stuff just be calling you, right? So we're now maybe to a place to where we're addicted. So I get that. That's a whole separate kind of conversation because research says that sugar is now more addictive than cocaine. So if you're addicted to sugar and all these foods that don't serve your body, that is basically allowing chemicals and other things in the environment to take over your body. So we have to get to a point to where we kind of rise up just a little bit to tap into our subconscious and bring it to our conscious, which is what you guys are doing right now with this liquid fast. Because I'm sure you guys are starting to see some things with a whole different lens. But I had to start out the way that I did, stepping on some toes, just because you may revert back just like I did 3 times. And so I want you to remember this and picture my face every time you think about picking up a regular chicken wing that's not electric, but you think about it and you're like, you know what? I went through those 21 days for this very reason, to be able to tap into my consciousness and rise above and stay more consistent. Okay. So once again, in our Eat More Electric Challenge, we kind of help you understand the history of medication. If you guys didn't know, super really quick. Essentially, it was about money and greed from the Rockefeller family and the money that he paid to the Harvards and the Yales of the world. I'm not going to go too deep in that because we like to stay in our private conversations about those kind of things. But essentially, that's what it was. He paid them money to teach them a certain curriculum. And we talk about some of the medical myths that, some of the things that you can't reverse. But obviously, if you understood that on your screen here, I've got the top 9 of top 10 causes of deaths. And they are all FTDs. We talk about STDs, but what about those FTDs, right? All right, so look at the screen. Heart disease, cancer, C19, I'll say, chronic lower respiratory diseases, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, influenza or the flu, pneumonia. Now we got the bird flu, right? and then kidney disease. All of those are the top 10 diseases that are killing us left and right. Okay. You've got number 3, which is unintentional injuries. But all these other 9 things that are crowding the top causes of death in the US, that's amazing. Not amazingly good, but it's just like, wow, okay, these are the top 10. So if we understood how deaths happen, then we can understand it's like, okay, if they come from food, then there must be other food that can reverse all these issues, right? Right? Give me like something if that was just like kind of, that was my aha moment, was like, oh, the top 10 killers in the US are all food transmitted diseases. That's crazy. So if we stop eating the BS, then we don't have to worry about this. And then we can end up dying peacefully in our sleep. Like there's a group or race of people that do. I think it's somewhere in the Asian culture where they just die peacefully in their sleep, right? So just because you're living don't mean you're alive, right? Got that from Nicki Minaj. Just because you're living don't mean you're alive. All right. Jackie says, I am medication free now. That is awesome. That is amazing. Give yourself a pat on the back if no one else does. That's awesome. All right. So my quick question for the rest of you guys. Jackie already knows, or is it Jock? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong incorrectly. So obviously Jock wanted to get to a space to where he wanted to feel better every day and more consistently. Because if we understand that the medications that they give us only is placing a band-aid on us and it's not really getting to the root cause, you're not really going to feel that great. It's just going to give you just a little bit of feeling good, but it's not going to really do anything to help you get off. Like, to me, medication is something that you take and you get off of it completely. You don't need it anymore. I used to teach college students. Jackie, I'm sorry. All right. Yes, Jackie, congratulations on not being on medication anymore. Yes. So I used to teach college, and a lot of my students, of course, were on the ADD and ADHD medicine and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm not even sure how we got on the conversation, but one of my students was like, yeah, I've been on ADD medication since second grade. And I'm like, wait, what? And, everybody looked at me and they looked at him and went kind of back and forth. And I was like, what year are you now? And he was like, I'm a sophomore in college. So I'm like, so you've been on medication from the second grade till now. First of all, like, how is that medication? That's just something to keep you strung along, right? And keep coming back. Because again, to me, medication is something you take and you don't have to deal with it anymore, right? But he got upset and he was like, nah, if I don't take it, I just feel horribly and I just have an attitude and da-da-da. And he was getting an attitude with me just then, just by asking him some simple questions and having him think about what he was doing. So later on, I researched, or maybe I already knew by then, is that with these medications, they take 2% of whatever plant it is to so-called help with something. And that's what makes you feel a little bit better, but it doesn't get to the root cause, right? So that's why I say it's just putting a Band-Aid on the issue, but it's not really helping reverse anything. So instead of taking 2% of something that obviously is very powerful, just go straight to the root. Just go right to the plant and take the whole plant. And you won't really have to deal with that at all, right? Yes. So the question you should have for yourself is that, do you want to feel better daily and more consistently? These are questions that it seem obvious and it seems like it's an easy answer. However, there are some people that know what they're putting in their bodies is not serving them, but yet they do it every day. And I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about people that just don't care. We try to help them, we try to educate them, but they just don't care. But I'm going to get to the addicted part in a second, though, okay? But the second question I want you to ask yourself is that, have you ever experienced a loved one that has passed away in pain from one of these FTDs? And I would bet one of my last dollar that some of you guys, at least a great majority of you guys have, if not all of you. Okay. So because of that, what you want to do is that you have to believe that you can retrain your brain, right? And Tarika, you can go ahead and go to the next slide if you want. You have to believe that you can retrain your brain. You have to believe that. If you don't believe it, then you've already been defeated, okay? But I'm going to pretend, because I know you guys are on a whole nother level. You guys know that you can feel better and that you can retrain your brain. Okay. So I want to ask you guys, what bad habits or so-called bad habits do you have? Or let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it general. What is the biggest bad habit that is seen in most people in America today, where they say they got to have X every single AM? What do y'all think it is? Most people, they can't start their day until they have coffee. Is coming in the chat. Absolutely. Gotta have my coffee before I start my day, right? Now, I want you guys to think for a second and think about, if coffee is your thing, whether it's it could be day coffee. It doesn't matter. Whatever your so-called not so great addiction is, I want you to think about it and picture in your head. Okay? Do you guys think that whomever is addicted to coffee came out of their mother's womb with this addiction? Now, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible, right? Because it's kind of like, crack babies. They do exist, where mothers do drugs while they're carrying a child, and they come out of the womb addicted to that particular drug. But stay with me. I'm going to stay with just coffee for right now. Okay. Tamara says it used to be her thing. All right. I got off coffee a year ago. That's awesome. Congratulations. But most people just get up just saying it, already speaking it. Like, I got to have my coffee. I can't start my day. I'm grouchy. I'm this, I'm that if I don't have my coffee. So they're already speaking that into their lives without even really tapping in and say, you know what, body, do I even need this coffee? They're just saying it because it's just a habit that they're used to now. But going back to the kid that you're envisioning, sticking with coffee, it's hard for me to think that most mothers, sane or insane, would drink coffee when they're carrying a child. But most people don't. But let's just say they do. Let's just say the mother, we got 10 mothers lined up. All of them are pregnant. They're about to give birth. They do give birth. And then their child comes out addicted to coffee. Now, out of those 10 mothers, how many of you think that those mothers continue to give their children coffee? Like whether they put it in a baby bottle or put a mug up to their mouths and just kept on feeding them that coffee. They didn't, right? So my point is, at some point, whether they were being developed as an embryo to want to have coffee or drugs or whatever it is, but it was forcefully taken away for X amount of years, and then all of a sudden the baby doesn't even want it anymore, right? So it just becomes to a point to where it just ends up being a habit. That is my point. So once you retrain yourself to either just physically go cold turkey, like my partner Tamara, once she found this lifestyle, she wasn't going back. Now that's amazing. I wish that was me, but that was not me. But there's less than 1% of the people that can feel good for something that's a benefit for them and then not even go back. But that's not me. So for the rest of us, 99% of the world, let's kind of figure out, how do we break these bad habits and whatnot. Okay. So one thing you do is that you visualize and you speak what you want for yourself. Visualize and speak for what you want for yourself. Then you just rinse and repeat it. So when people tell me they are finna, gonna, and have to, and all these other things, but I'm gonna start January 1st, or I'm gonna start July 1st, or whenever it is, and they don't choose to start right then and there, it's probably just gonna be a very temporary thing if they start at all. Okay? So just think about that. So the visualization boards, the journaling, all those things are amazing pieces to get started. But obviously it's not the only thing, but that's just part of it. But when you see something written down, more than likely you can feel that you're closer to being able to achieve that particular goal. And then when you speak it, you may just speak it out loud and just say, and just kind of say, and you feel like you're lying to yourself. And that is nothing wrong. That's natural. Nothing wrong with that at all. But you'll get to a place to where it's just, you say it so much over and over and over again to where your body starts to believe it. Because guess what's the most interesting thing about the brain? The brain is very objective, and it doesn't understand the difference between reality and what's in that's not things that haven't happened yet. So it doesn't understand it. So once you start visualizing something, you can clearly see something, and then you start speaking it, it taps automatically into your subconscious. And then eventually your brain starts to really believe it, because you have to say that more than what the negatives are, right? Does that make sense? When you say and see these things, or the positive of what you want to manifest, you see that more than what you don't want, your body is just like, oh, okay, this is where we're living. So it has to feel it. So how many of you guys realize that the brain, or sorry, the mind is way more powerful than the body? There is a difference between the brain and the mind. There is two totally different things. But the mind is way more powerful than the body. So once you can overcome your body just being on autopilot and just doing whatever it wants to do, but you tap in and say, no, you're going to go back and control what your body is doing, that's when you start to reprogram your body to doing what you really, really want it to do. Okay? But yes, again, I get it. Some of our habits are comforting, and it makes us feel uncomfortable for us to even think about not having our coffee or not having a donut or whatever, sugar or whatever. But this is why you need to understand, again, the dangers of the food, which you guys are understanding that now, the dangers of medication, which again, congratulations, Jackie, and all you other guys that no longer are going to be on medication. You letting your food be your medication. But the dangers of eating meat and dairy, obviously you guys have risen above that. How much sugar people may put in their foods and salt, it's in everything. It's in everything. All these processed foods is in everything that makes us addicted. So that's part of visualization and understanding that we don't need to eat this particular food, even if it's just one last time, because that part is what's making us addicted and is controlling our body or over our minds. So continue on with this journey that you're on, because that really truly helps not only cleanse your body, but your mind and your soul. And you continue to go in that direction of what you want, right? So if you haven't been able to tell, it's definitely going to take a little bit of work on your end. And I'm sorry if you thought that I was going to be able to come on here and wave my magic wand and whatnot and just say, poof, you're healed, right? It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But with a little work on your end, you can actually make things happen and get to a place to where I and so many others have said goodbye to the animal foods for life. All right. So once again, just a little shameless plug, go to eatmoreelectric.com and just sign up, absolutely free. And once you sign up, I'll send you an automatic email and it'll come back, and it'll be a form on the bottom of the email. And I'll just ask you some questions and help you evaluate what your true priorities are. And if your priorities as far as health and whatnot just keep kind of sliding up and down on that ladder, I'll help you make the links to whatever really is your priority, whether it's your kids, your family, whatever that it is, and make it higher on that ladder. Okay. I'll help you get there. Other programs won't, they won't tell you that it takes a lot of work because, there's so many different reasons. They just want your money, or they just want to make it sound sexy and easy so they can look great. But when I tell you it takes some work, but it's so worth it. Okay. When I look at pictures from myself from 10 years ago, and I look 10 years younger today than I did then, that is crazy to me. So you can reverse your age. You can reverse how you feel, which again, you guys are experiencing that right now. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir, which my bad, I don't mean to do that. But I just want you to think about these things once these 21 days are over. Okay. Just repeat that cycle over and over and over again. And I'm sure Tarika can tell you that when she was consistently alkaline, how much better she felt. So we need you guys just as much as you need us. That's how this thing works. We pull on each other. All right. So again, understand you can train and reprogram your brain, but you must want and believe that. Okay. So I call my signature program that I'm creating Reboot Your Roots, but it's essentially retraining your brain. And I kind of tailor it to things that I think that we need as a people, as a group of people, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so tons and tons of research around this this topic. So all right, so first things first. What do you guys feel like is your worst addiction food wise? So you guys can be honest. Tell me what you think your worst addiction is food wise. Feel free to put it in the chat or just write it down or just, say it to yourself. I don't know, whatever you want to do. All right. So I've got some people saying starch foods, some rice. Oh, yeah. Right. Cheese. Oh, I thought it was cheese candy, but I guess you mean cheese and candy. Yes. Cheese was definitely one of my kryptonites, I guess you could say. For sure. Definitely in my family, even still to this day. I don't think it's a coincidence that everybody that has an addiction to cheese in my family, none of them can see. And I literally mean that. Like I have some uncles that are literally blind. And then everybody else are headed in that direction with glaucoma and cataracts. Everybody wears glasses. So just another quick testimony about this lifestyle for me. I've been wearing glasses since I was in the 6th grade. And then when I ate alkaline straight for 4 months, guess what? No more glasses. I had 20/20. And I didn't even realize it because I had the habit of putting my glasses on and off. And then I just kept getting headaches. And I was like, why am I getting a headache? And I remember getting frustrated, taking my glasses off and throwing them. And then the pressure from the headache released. And I was like, wait a minute. And I started looking around and I was like, oh my gosh, I can see what that sign says that's 100 feet away from me. Like that was just, I was like, you know what? No more. Like this lifestyle is absolutely amazing. So anyway, that was just another testimony. But I'm seeing potatoes, coffee, processed sugar, pasta, all these things that are very addictive, right? So I get it, right? So I want you to picture whatever your biggest addiction is in your mind when I say these next few things so it can kind of make sense or hopefully, make clear sense to you. Okay. So picture that food in your mind, but we're only going to stay on here for just a few seconds because I don't want you guys to revert back to it. All right. Recognize the brain's role in addiction. Okay. Addictions condition the body to believe it needs something outside of itself to change how it feels on the inside of itself. Okay. One more time, I'll say that again. Addictions, like the food that you're picturing or that you typed in the chat, those addictions condition the body to believe it needs something outside of itself to change how it feels inside of itself. Meaning that addictions mess with our minds and our bodies, making us think that we need it in order to change how we feel on the inside. So basically, these addictions mess with our heads and our bodies, convincing us that we need that particular food that does not serve us well at all. And it's like our brain and our body getting used to a certain emotional state that's triggered by whatever we're hooked on. So let's just say we decide to put our phone away from, we're going to get off food because I don't want you guys to start dreaming about food right now. All right. So let's just say that the addiction that we may have on our phones, and we may put it away in another room from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., right? From 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., we may put it in another room, put it on silent so we don't get distracted by the notifications or the buzzing that's going off, but we put it outside of the room that we're in, right? When you first do this, would you constantly think about who's calling or texting you? Would you constantly think about someone posting on social media, etc.? This addiction that we may have and place on our phones, you have to replace your time with something else, right? So something more beneficial to your mind and your body. So what are some of the things you guys are doing since you're taking, the process of cooking away? So some of you guys may be juicing because you're on a liquid fast, right? But it usually doesn't take as long because of, you're not really cooking things from scratch and all that kind of stuff. So juicing doesn't take as long as cooking or anything else. So you have to replace whatever it is that you're addicted to with something else that's more beneficial. So that's one little thing that I can kind of help you guys with as you continue on with this journey. The second thing is on the screen, realize the significance of dopamine, okay? Dopamine is that reward chemical that we've heard about, and it definitely greatly affects addiction. So just think about the first part of the word, dope, right? Has anyone had any family members addicted to drugs? Feel free to type a 1 in the chat for yes and 2 for no. If you've ever had a family member addicted to drugs, right? So whether you understand how someone could get hooked on drugs or not, understand this. We're probably all addicted to a drug, and that drug is what I mentioned earlier, and that is sugar, okay? And once again, if you didn't hear me, sugar is in everything, even the things that are not sweet. It's in there. They know just how much sugar to put in something that they're not intentionally trying to make it sweet, but it's just like, I can't remember the exact amount, but it's just enough to make us addicted to it and wanting us to go back for more and more and more, which is crazy, right? So just realize that, again, once you get off this fast, that it's like, okay, I'm not going to pick up a piece of regular chicken because this is what they want me to do for one. And I'm one of those kind of stubborn people. And once I realized what they wanted us to do, I was like, oh no, y'all not gonna get me. Y'all not gonna keep getting me. So that was one thing that helped me. But it's gonna be a multitude of things that help you guys stay on this journey for alkaline electric eating. Okay. This is one of several different things. So this is why journaling is important as part of that visualization. But also, once you hear me or anyone else say something that you like or something that's helpful to you, you got to write it down so you can remember it, because the world is just full of information, a lot of good information out there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a few things to help you with to give you some natural dopamine that are actually alkaline electric. And so maybe you can write this down, or maybe I'll give a list to Tarisha later. But just a few foods that are naturally full of dopamine. And of course, these are alkaline electric foods. So some of them that are plant protein rich foods are chickpeas, walnuts, and quinoa. Some fruits that have natural dopamine in it is grapes, blueberries, strawberries, boiled bananas, and apples. Which, by the way, if apples is one of your things, if you get your apples from a grocery store, I would probably think twice about it, just because most of those have been in the store for over a year. That is one of the fruits that oh man, they cloned Tyrone. I want to see that. I have not watched that yet. But yeah. Apples are one of those fruits that they put something in it to make it last a very long time. And if you don't believe me, buy some apples or buy one apple, put it in your fridge and see how long it looks like it's lasting. It'll be in there for a while. All right, looking the same way. All right, but anyway, nuts and seeds, walnuts and Brazil nuts are great for a dopamine boost. And again, these dopamine boosts help you feel good. So it gives you a good replacement for chips, or it can start in that direction. Okay. I'm not saying that it's magical that you can now take some walnuts and you'll never want a potato chip ever again. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying help your body out just a little bit while you work on some other things, visually and speaking things and all that kind of stuff. But lastly on the list is the leafy greens. So everything that's on Dr. Sabi's nutritional guide, of course, not the iceberg and whatnot, but the greener the better. The greener the better. And then, of course, foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like your sea moss, your nori, your kelp, and your bladderwrack. Be careful of taking bladderwrack if you do know that you have hyperthyroid issues. That could definitely, not make you feel the greatest. But those kind of foods are great for everyone else. Okay. Now, I'm going to leave you guys with this, one more step to help you hopefully take a few more steps. Okay. Here's some homework for you. Do something opposite in the morning. I'm gonna turn my camera on. Sorry about that, because I want you guys to see me. Do something opposite of what you typically do to start your day. So if the first thing that you do is outside of this challenge, of course, that you got to have some coffee. I don't care if it's date coffee or not. Do something opposite. And when I say opposite, I don't mean go have a donut. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Do something opposite that you normally do in your morning routine, like when you go to brush your teeth, and hopefully you brush your teeth. All right. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. What this does is starts to fire off neurons in your brain to get you out of that normal routine, that normal same thing day in, day out, Groundhog's Day type of a mentality, right? When you brush your teeth with your opposite hand, it starts your day with thinking more creatively, right? Another opposite thing that you can do in your morning routine, if you drive to work still, I know a lot of people work from home, me being one of them, thank God, that's an amazing blessing. But if you're driving to work, go in a different route than you normally go. If you keep going in that same route, you keep seeing the same people, the exact same type of traffic, the same billboards that we don't think really works on us, but it does work on your subconscious. That's how billboard advertising works. We don't necessarily read everything that it says, but once we pass it, when we're driving and we see it and our subconscious is eating it up, we may automatically feel like, you know what, I do want a Impossible Burger from Burger King. Well, it's plant-based, so it should be okay. That's what that's doing. It's getting into our mind, like in our subconscious, and we end up going back and falling back to the same old stuff we used to do. Okay. So that's what I mean by doing things opposite when your morning routine. And that propels the rest of your day, believe it or not. Write down some other things that you want to kind of get out of the routine of doing and write it down for yourself. And then just figure out what you can do opposite of that actually helps benefit you. Okay. So that's your homework, to pick 3 things that you can do opposite. All right. The last piece of homework is fill out your wealth check. Okay. Fill it out. Go to eatmoreelectric.com. Sign up for the challenge, absolutely free. Of course, there's going to be some opportunities to, purchase a few things if you want, like the replays or some electric tonics that we have or whatnot. If you don't want all that, no problem. Just keep skipping that, and just get to the end to where you're signing up for free. And then it's going to send you an email for you can fill out this wealth check form. And that's going to start you on your journey to figure out what your top priorities are. And I promise you, Once you start to fill it out, you're going to be, you're probably going to find out some things about yourself that you didn't even realize. Because again, it's about getting into that subconscious level and bringing it up and out. And you can start to realize it's like, you know what? My mom used to tell me this all the time, but I actually don't care about X, Y, and Z. You're going to figure those kind of things out for yourself. And that's the purpose of it, because that will help you stop stressing yourself out about the pressures that you may put on yourself in doing something that doesn't even interest you at all. So again, health hopefully is there, but it may not. But if you want it to be there, and obviously it is because you guys are in this challenge, then we have to make some links to help it get higher and higher on your ladder for priorities. Okay. And help you get back on that road. All right. But that's all I got. I appreciate you guys having me here.
That was so beautiful. And some really, really great things for us to really think about. Especially having the homework assignment, doing things opposite. It definitely does trick something in the mindset. So I'm going to be excited to do that in the morning. So we're just going to take a little quick 30-second break, and we're going to come back, answer any questions that you guys may have. Dr. Truth will let us know how to find us, and how to register again for the Eat More Challenge, and then we'll wrap things up. So 1 second as we take another quick break. So, Dr. Truth, you are the owner of that outfit that we just saw. Tell us about that.
Yes, of course. As you can see, it was inspired by Dr. Sabi. And at the time that I had the vision for it, I didn't see any kind of clothing at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm not a designer, but I've got this little bit of creativity in me. So it took me about a year to find a manufacturer that was, good quality clothing. It is premium cotton, because I know that's something that's important to us as far as what we put in on our bodies as well as inside of our bodies. So yeah, it was just something that when I was watching him on the Rock Newman show, if you ever seen that interview.
Yes.
So he did this at one point in the interview, and I was like, that right there. And I just saw it, and I was like, I gotta have that. I gotta put that on some clothing. So yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it. It's definitely going to be in my shopping cart one of these days. All right. Any questions? Any questions? If not, Dr. Truth, just let us know how we can find you. Where do we find you? And a little bit more about the Eat More Challenge uh, contest or program.
Okay, not a problem. So eatmoreelectric.com. There's no E in the more, so it's kind of like eat more chicken, which obviously we don't want you doing that, but we know where that slogan came from, right? But yeah, we want you guys to eat more electric. So we do it every first Monday through Friday of every month. So we just had our January kickoff last week, and we'll do it again, of course, in February, which is February 3rd through the 7th is the next one. So yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely free.
Beautiful. It has definitely been an honor, guys. Dr. Truth with Eat More Electric. She's also on Instagram at Eat More Electric on there as well. Um, if you need to reach out to her personally, you can also send her an email. But she has given us some great information when it comes to the brain and our thoughts and psychology of the foods that we eat. And we are so, so appreciative of having you with us tonight. All
Oh,
right.
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys. Y'all were fun in the chat. Y'all were getting it in.
Yeah, they
Appreciate
definitely are.
it.
All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna definitely see you around. I'll be joining Eat More Electric in the beginning of the month as well. And we
Awesome.
really appreciate you again.
All right. You guys have a great one. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So definitely we that rounds up our series. I think 6 and series 7 will be on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have another wonderful herbalist out of South Carolina that's going to join us on Wednesday to give us some more insight about herbal intake. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope these lives are definitely helpful, and some of you have definitely been in my inbox and let me know that they are helpful. So I'm excited about that. And let me just get this. We will see you guys on Wednesday at 8.
Everybody got a call. What's something good like a tea or something like that?
Rosewood, elderflower, depending on who like the child, I would do like elderflower. So adults can do like whole hound. I'd be wanting adults to do more like bitters, right? Because the bitter is going to expand the lungs, open the lungs up, so we can get the mucus about it. Then you got wild cherry bulb. That's good for wild cherry bulb. So you think about wild cherry, it's an expectorant. So it's made to make you cough. All you leave, that's all it's going on. Elderberry. Like I wouldn't buy elderberry at Walmart. I just ain't gonna do it. I don't trust them. So I just wouldn't buy it.